welcome back. You're watching Overdrive and it's time now for us to take your queries on Auto Selector. Sirish joins us as always. Hi Sirish. Sirish, before we actually get started with the question and answers, I want to ask you, you just saw Sandeep's first drive report of the new Swift. Anything more that you want to add?
Well, the first thing is look at the car. Now, it is an all-new platform, but unfortunately, because the styling is so evolutionary and nothing much has changed, most people will think it's just a mere facelift, when in reality, it's an all-new platform. It rides much better, it handles much better, it runs on 15-inch wheels, so it grips much better. And crucially for me, it has not lost any of that zest or enthusiasm of the Swift. That fun-to-drive character which made it so involving, so attractive, it's still there in this new Swift. New interiors also, more space at the back. Overall, I think Maruti have done an excellent job, and I think this will go to the top of its class. I really like this new Swift.
Okay, enough about the Swift. Let's get down to our questions now. Our first question comes into us, and it is about another Japanese manufacturer. We're talking about Nissan, which showed us the first look of the Sunny sedan last week. Now, that is built on the Micra platform, and the question that we have got is from Aditya Doshi. Aditya wants to know whether the Sunny will be competing with the Desire in the bottom end of the segment, or is it targeting the Vento? What do we know about this car? Is it worth waiting for? He's looking for a long-term purchase in the next 6 to 8 months. What do you make of the Sunny, Sirish?
Well, actually, if you look at the pictures of the Sunny, it is quite big and the styling is completely different from the Micra. So unless you know it's based on the V platform, you will not know that it is based on the same platform as the Micra. It doesn't look like a sedan spawned of the hatchback. Now that said, it won't compete with the Desire at the bottom end of the segment. It'll compete more like with the Etios, which is in the middle of the segment, between the Desire at one end and the Vento at the other end. It'll be somewhere in the middle. In terms of size, it is as big, if not even bigger than the Vento. It'll have a lot of space inside, petrol as well as a diesel engine, so a good range of engines. New interiors, very different from the Micra again. So all in all, I think that will be a very important car for Nissan. The Micra, it's not selling too well because not many people like the way it looks. Also dealers, there are not too many around. But the Sunny, it actually has a good shot at success. It all depends on if they price it right. They have to price it against the Etios, slightly cheaper than the Etios, then it will do well.
Our next question comes into us from Ram Kumar. He writes into us from Salem. He wants to know when Toyota will put diesel engines in the Etios and the Lever. He wants to buy a large hatchback or the Etios in the next 3 to 4 months. Is it worth waiting for? And what do you think of the recent fuss about diesel prices, Sirish?
Well, as for the first half of the question, very soon, next month, Toyota will have a diesel engine in both the Etios sedan as well as in the Lever hatchback. So both the cars will get the same 1.4-litre 4-cylinder diesel engine from the Corolla. It won't have a VGT turbo, so it won't make 85 horsepower, it'll make more like 75 horsepower, but it'll still be adequate because the Etios and the Lever are both very light cars. So it doesn't need a very powerful engine. Also that engine, as we've seen in the Corolla, is torquey, it's got good spread of torque, it's got good drivability. So overall, it'll be a very interesting engine and it'll be cars to watch out for. The Etios and the Lever with the diesel engine will be very interesting buys in that segment.
Okay, let's move to a question that comes into us from Arun. He runs a software company. He's 36. He wants to buy himself a Porsche. You're a lucky 36-year-old, Arun. He's test-driven a lot of Porsches. He's realized that the sports cars don't work on a day-to-day basis, so his options are the Cayenne or the Panamera. Which one would you pick, Sirish, if you had that kind of money?
Well, that's a delicious question. I wish I was asking that question to somebody. But good choices. The Panamera, excellent. 4 seats, you can be chauffeur-driven when you want to be chauffeur-driven, and when you want to drive, the Panamera is a true Porsche. Excellent car to drive, tremendous fun. We drove it on the track 2 years back, and it was just incredible. The way the car handles, phenomenal. But for India, diesel would probably make more sense, and an SUV would make even more sense. Now, the Panamera is available with diesel, but the Cayenne, because it's an SUV, it can handle our roads, it can handle our conditions, and the Cayenne handles like no SUV that you know. It is almost like a sports car. The handling is just tremendous. We drove it up the Jalori Pass recently, and it just blew us away. So I would personally suggest the Cayenne. Again, you can be chauffeur-driven, and when you want to drive it, great fun to drive. To me, maybe the Cayenne.
Happy driving, Arun. On that note, it's time for us to wrap up Auto Selector for this week. Remember, if like Arun, you have a query, email it to us, helpdesk@overdrive.co.in. That's our email address.